So Intel sent us this Asus ZenBook 2-in-1 laptop, which of course is a really sleek ultrabook. It's almost the size of my hand, but also has an 4K LED display with a touch screen and Intel Evo. And here's the fun part. Every time it folds, my heart almost goes out. And if your heart goes out too, subscribe to Techwiser to stay wiser and hit the bell icon as well. Of course, this video is made possible by Intel, but you know it, I know it. The opinions about this product are mine. And at the end of the video, you'll have a clear idea of the Asus ZenBook 360 laptop and what Intel Evo branding stands for. It's me, Prateek. You're already watching Techwiser. Let's go. Now first, when you open the box, the laptop rises to the top. That was nice. And you get this extra pen, USB-A to Ethernet adapter, USB-C to headphone jack dongle, and a 65-watt PD charger in the box. First, as you can see, the Asus ZenBook S13 is a really compact and portable notebook. It could easily fit in any backpack, and what was amazing was the weight of the laptop. I have used ultrabooks which weigh around 1.4 to 1.5 kgs, but this Asus ZenBook weighs in at a surprisingly light 1.2 kgs. And the entire shell of the laptop is made with magnesium alloy and aluminium. Like as you can see, there's no flex to the chassis. When you use the touchpad or press on it, there's minimal to no flex on the key if you apply more pressure. The key travel is so good, and I loved typing on this keyboard. They make a good tactile sound. Here, listen to this. Now, it has the same concerns as any other convertible or flip laptop. Now, it's fine when you use a pen on it or while you're just typing on the laptop on your lap. But when you try to adjust the screen, it's a bit wobbly. It doesn't affect your day-to-day usage, but you would notice it in the initial days. Moving on to the touchpad, you see this Intel Evo branding beside it. Well, let us talk about it. So what's Intel Evo? In simple words, it's a certification process. For example, if you see an Indian product with ISI certification, you know that it means certain standards. Similarly, with Intel Evo, laptop manufacturers need to meet requirements to get certified. And it's a good thing, because if you, the customer, see an Intel Evo branding, you know there won't be any unpleasant surprises. So what are the most important requirements for Intel Evo certification for you? First up, Intel certified laptop has to have Intel i5 or i7 11th gen. And it has to have their Intel Xe graphics, which is better than Intel UHD graphics you normally get. We'll get to that in a moment. An Intel Evo laptop has to have minimum 9 hours of battery life on a full HD screen. It has to wake up in less than 1 second when you lift the screen. And most importantly, you have to have all the latest sensor, Wi-Fi 6, Thunderbolt 4, 8GB RAM, NVMe SSD, etc. So in short, when you buy an Intel Evo laptop, you are assured that you get the best Intel chip and ports in the market. Now, moving on, let's talk about the performance of the device. First of all, it comes with Intel i7 1165G7. It's a 10 nanometer processor with 4 physical cores and 8 virtual cores. All of them clocked at 2.8 GHz with max single core turbo speed at 4.7 GHz. Max TDP is 28 watt. You get 16 GB of RAM at 4266 MHz and 1 TB of NVMe PCI Gen 3 SSD. So I mostly work on the web with a bit of Photoshop and Premiere Pro. Here's a demo for Photoshop 2021. Like here, I drop a 200+ MB of 4K footage in Photoshop, and 1 to 2 seconds, it's loaded. And I can just hop onto filter gallery and apply like 5 filters on it with barely a lag. It made my job personally easy. I wasn't able to do this on my older Windows laptop. Next up, I tried editing a 7-minute 4K video on Premiere Pro, and this is a 2GB H.264 video file from the Sony a7 III. I dropped it on the timeline and scrubbed. Playback and import is smooth. And after all the edit, when I rendered it, it took 6 minutes 6 seconds to export 4K H.264 footage with maximum bit depth. Now, to make this review wide, I also did benchmarks and gaming. Here are Cinebench single core scores, whereas this is Cinebench multi-core scores. Now, Intel CPUs also have good video encoding capabilities due to QuickSync. So I tried that out via Handbrake. I compressed a 2.2 GB 4K video file to 1080p video file around about 200 MB and it took like 6 minutes 40 seconds. And I played games as well. Now, not all notebooks are meant for hardcore gamers. The Asus ZenBook doesn't have a dedicated GPU, and if you can afford a eGPU these days, then Intel Thunderbolt 4 supports that. Anyways, it can still do casual gaming for an hour or two, which for a casual gamer like me is good. I like storyline based games, so I tried GTA 5, and this is a 4K display. So GTA 5 can run at 4K. But if you look at the FPS, you shouldn't be gaming at 4K. Now, if you drop back to 1080p, it pulls up really good numbers, and for an integrated GPU, this is really good performance. And I also tried CSGO Deathmatch at 1080p, and it pulls up around 55 FPS. The gameplay was decent. After all this heavy work, the laptop gets hot on the back around 48-50 degrees. But on the front, the heat is not felt on the keyboard or the touchpad. The top gets a bit warm at around 46 degrees Celsius. And to really complement the performance, the battery is huge. It has a 67 watt-hour battery. Asus promises up to 10 hours of battery life. In my experience, on a light usage or just web browsing and Photoshop, I could go through the day easily. That's about 8 hours of battery life. If you really push the device during a game or video editing, it drops to about 5 to 6 hours. The single fan kicks in when you do heavy tasks, and as you can hear, at the max speed, it's audible. But if you have a headphone or earphone plugged in, you would barely hear it. In order to charge the ZenBook, you get a 65 watt USB PD charger. It can charge your laptop in about 0 to 60% in about 1 hour. But the real charm about this laptop is the display. It's a 4K OLED touch display. And as you would know, OLEDs are known for good contrast and appear sharp. That's there. But OLEDs do tend to boost and saturate natural color. That's not the case here. The display has 100% DCI P3 color gamut, and it is Pantone validated. So in case you don't know, Pantone validated display confirms that the color on this display are accurate. So in case you color grade on this laptop or color correct your photos, they'll mostly turn out accurate on the print as well as other displays. Moving on, here's a little webcam test. Since all of us are locked down, have you thought about how much you spend time looking at yourself in the camera? By the way, how's the mic quality? It's through the laptop. Now, speakers on this one aren't the best. Like, I wasn't expecting a lot from a compact notebook, but the bass on the speakers is pretty good. The vocals aren't that great, so suppose I'm watching a YouTube video or a movie, I can't hear it clearly over the fan or AC. So not a deal breaker, but not the best. And yeah, the ports. The laptop has two USB 4 Thunderbolt ports and a full-size HDMI 1.4 USB 3.2 port. There's no headphone jack on the laptop, but Asus does provide a Hi-Fi 3.5mm dongle inside the box, and the audio output via the dongle is really better than the cheaper sound cards you get in the market. So, all in all, listen carefully. 2-in-1 laptops are for people who want a laptop as well as a tablet, on which they can sketch or watch movies in pastime. More of like a tablet and a laptop all in one. So the Asus ZenBook S13 doubles up as a touchscreen foldable as well as a powerful laptop for productivity. So you can use it as a tablet as well as laptop with light sketches and other work. It's a good 2-in-1 machine to consider. It's compatible with Windows 11 as well, in case you're wondering. So you get this laptop for around 1.45 lakhs. There's also an i5 version with the same display and 512GB SSD. That one starts at 95,000. So if your budget is around that point, you can consider these options. So this was our first laptop video. Let me know your suggestions on it, what you liked, what you didn't. With that said, this is Prateek. See you soon.